Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to give new life to this kimono by transforming it into a two-piece set with a matching bag. This is such a fun way to upcycle and create something unique while still preserving the beauty and the uniqueness of the fabric. By the way, did you know kimono literally just means thing to wear in Japanese? Every kimono has a story. In the past, the patterns and colors you wore reflected your age, class, and even whether you were married or not. Vintage kimonos are often passed down through generations. Upcycling them into modern pieces is becoming a creative way to honor the fabric and the tradition and to keep it alive. For this project, you'll need your kimono, a basic pattern, some fabric scissors, pins, your sewing machine, and of course a little patience and creativity. If you don't have a pattern, you can also trace around one of your favorite dresses or pants or tops to create your own. Make sure that the pattern will fit onto your kimono panel pieces. So you don't want a pattern that's this massive big pattern piece. Make sure that you've got panels in there and then test it on the kimono and see that everything will fit in perfectly. Kimonos are hand stitched with incredible care. Some of these fabrics even use traditional dyeing methods like shibori tie-dye or yuzen painting, making each piece of fabric a work of art. All these kimonos tell a story, and it's just so special to see these kimonos up close. Start by carefully unpicking the seams of the kimono. This way you'll be able to get the maximum amount of usable fabric, and take your time here. Kimonos are very delicate, so be gentle. Most of them are made of silk and obviously hand sewn, so try and be as gentle with the kimonos as possible. So today I finally got the kimono completely unpicked. So a kimono is made out of these long straight pieces, so these are lovely to work with as upcycling projects because you've got quite a bit of fabric to work with in a kimono. So I will be making pants and a waistcoat out of this one, and there's more than enough fabric here. So then depending with how much I'm left with here, I'll probably be making a matching bag as well for my client. But I won't cut straight into this fabric, of course. If you're going to work with fabrics like this or projects, you know, like a kimono like this, you can't easily find the same fabric. So if you make a mistake, it is unfortunate, you know. So I always recommend do a mock-up first out of another fabric, test that, and then come back and cut into the kimono fabric. So I've got the pattern ready over here. I'll be cutting the mock-up first and then do the fitting, and then I will be cutting the kimono. Here is my lovely client Akemi in the mock-up, and as you can see, it fits perfectly. It fits like a glove. The only change that we're going to do is we're going to change the waistcoat to more of a v-neck, but further the rest fits perfect. Once the kimono is fully opened up, lay down your pattern pieces and position them in a way that highlights the most beautiful parts of the fabric design. Maybe a floral motif for the bodice or bold print on the skirt. And then you can pin your pieces down, and then we trace around. I feel when you trace off your pattern, you get a more accurate transfer of the pattern than just pinning and cutting. But whatever you prefer, if you prefer just pinning the pattern down and then cutting, that's also fine. So I've used the main pieces, the front and back, for the pants, and then I'll be using the sleeves for the waistcoat. Kimono motifs carry deep meanings. For example, the cherry blossoms symbolize beauty and renewal, while the cranes represent longevity and good fortune. I'm sure you've seen some beautiful kimonos with cranes on, so make sure that you place your pattern pieces so these motifs stand out the best and complement the fabric in the best way possible. So I am fusing the entire waistcoat. This will just help keep the structure that nice, sleek, polished look. So I'm fusing the entire outside layer of the waistcoat, and then I'll be lining it completely. Next, we're going to sew the bodice pieces together, so make sure that you try and keep the seams as neat as possible. If you're not using a lining, you can use French seams. If it's a silk fabric, it's going to look a lot neater and stronger on the silk. Or if you're going to use lining, just make sure that you iron your seams open. Traditionally, people could wear up to 12 layers of kimonos at once, especially during formal ceremonies in the Heian period. Imagine trying to sew that many, and also remember, every kimono was hand sewn. Can you imagine how long that must have taken for one wedding? Next, I'm just attaching the lining and the outer layer of the waistcoat together. Take some time and really think about the finer details that you are adding to the piece. No matter how small, I feel like these smaller details can really make or break a garment. Like these cover buttons, they give more of a professional feel to a garment. So if you are able to, try and always cover your own buttons. It is so easy and it just changes the look of your garment completely. Next, I started with the pants, so I finished the pockets and now I'm sewing the zip. I ended up going with the beige zip and leaving the red. I found the red was a bit too bright. And there's a special appearance by my cat. She's always following me and always checking what I'm making. I'm sure she actually loves all my design pieces, I hope. Next, I'm just sewing the waistband with the stitch in the ditch method, and then I'm just hand tucking the hem of the pants, and as you can see on the outside, it is completely invisible. It gives a nice professional finish to the pants. So I still have some small pieces left, so I'm thinking of making a cute little matching bag for the outfit. So I'm going to check how much is left and then I'll decide which style to make. I think a cute little tote bag, maybe with some quilting, would be quite cool. I absolutely love sewing little bags. It's my favorite thing lately to do. If I've got any scrap pieces of fabric lying around, it always gets turned into a bag. So over here, I'm just doing some quilting and I'm kind of following the shape of the pattern that's already on the fabric. I just thought if I'm going to do a diamond shape or a straight shape, it's going to compromise the look and take away from the beauty of the fabric. So I think this would just complement the fabric the best. I find quilting so therapeutic. I could do this all day. So this is what the end result looks like, and I thought it turned out quite pretty with following the shape of the pattern that's already on the fabric. So now I'm just pinning the side panel to the front and back, and then it should look like this when it's done sewing. And I've added some handles, and now I'll be adding the lining. Please leave a comment down below if you want me to make more of a in-depth video on how I sew this tote bag. And here is the final look. I absolutely love how the kimono fabric shines through in this waistcoat and pants, and the matching bag just pulls everything together. It's so elegant, sustainable, and one of a kind. Thank you so much for joining me on this upcycling journey. If you enjoyed this project, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more DIY fashion ideas. And please let me know in the comments, what would you like to see for me to upcycle next? Even though kimonos aren't worn every day anymore, they remain an iconic part of Japanese culture and have inspired fashion designers worldwide. And now this one has been reborn into something totally unique. Here is my client Akemi in the final look. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I made a matching belt with a little bit of pieces that were left. Everything just fitted so well and turned out so beautiful, and she wasn't even expecting the bag. She loved the bag so much. So I specialize in wedding and evening gowns, and occasionally I would take on special types of garments like this for clients, and this has been so refreshing. I absolutely love doing upcycling projects like this, and I hope for future projects I get more of these. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think, and see you next time.